Welcome everyone, Kivalan here. Today I will show you how to get the level of detail transition to work in Unity's Universal Render Pipeline and HD Render Pipeline. More specifically, we'll implement a dithering fading effect. Now, if you have tried to make an LOD group using the new render pipelines, you found that transitions do not work. This is because the default shaders do not support them. As you'll see, the shader must implement these transitions. So, to solve it, you need to make your own shader. In this tutorial, the shader will be created with ShaderGraph. But this is not a ShaderGraph tutorial, so we'll not get into the details of creating a shader. So make your own shader, or get one you already have. But, since this is something you might want in multiple shaders, it's best to implement a subgraph. So let's do that. The graph will have the source image transparency as an input, and the output is going to be the final transparency for the master node. When trying to make a shader like this, the most important and frustrating part is finding out how Unity informs the shader it needs to fade out due to an LOD change. So let me end that frustration. Unity has an internal variable accessible to shaders that indicates just that. It's called Unity LOD fade, and it outputs a value from 0 to 1 for entering objects and from 0 to -1 for exiting objects. To access it, create a custom function node and add a vector1 output named fade value and the following text. Don't worry, you can copy-paste it from the description below. For those wondering, the if conditional is because the Unity LOD fade value actually drops to 0 while there is no transition. So you need to ignore it when it's 0, otherwise you'll get a transparent object that will pop when the transition starts. Also, I multiplied by 2 the entering LOD fade value to get it to complete the fade in the middle of the transition. Because if you let both fade at the same rate, when the transition is at 50%, they are both half transparent, and that's no good. After this, since this output goes beyond 0 and 1, it's best to clamp the value. Now, with this information you can already implement anything you can imagine, but for this example, we'll do a sort of dither effect that will work well in most cases. We'll get the dithering pattern from a simple noise node. It's close enough. Multiply it by your clamped value to get the object to fade away, and then take an interpolation between the original transparency and the dither pattern transparency, and interpolate by the fade value to make the transition. And the result is the output of the subgraph. Now you can put the subgraph in any shader you want. Just drop it right after the master node transparency channel and enjoy the smooth transitions you've always wanted. So that's it for this video. I hope it helped. It's hard to find info on how to do this, so if you appreciate me sharing this knowledge, please give a like. Subscribe. I have just started the channel, but I plan on showing more awesome stuff. So I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.